Hello, hello. Good afternoon, traders. Hope you guys are all doing really well. Happy holidays to you all. My name is Jason Krutzky. It's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon. I hope everybody had a really nice holiday. Had a lovely Christmas myself. And I hope you guys did too. We are quick approaching the new year. Holy moly. Can you guys believe it? It's almost 2024. We got a little New Year's sale going on right now. It's really, well, it's a little bit different than the sale we had for Christmas. If you haven't gotten a TrendSpider account yet, now is the time, is what we're trying to say. We're trying to give you guys all the opportunities we can give you to get the hookup. Next year, it's not going to be as sweet. So I wanted to take some time. We had some questions that came in. Well, really just one major question that the support team hit me up about over the long weekend, over the holiday weekend. A customer was asking about utilizing the different definers in scripting and what's the point of it and how it works. So I wanted to take a few minutes before I answer anybody's questions here. I see there are a few of you guys tuned in. So I wanted to take a few minutes before I answer y'all's questions, if you guys have any. Hopefully you do. And answer this big question that came in for the team so that they had a little resource available that they could share. So let's talk about scripting really quick. As you guys know, or maybe you guys don't know, but on TrendSpider, we have what we call visual scripts, and visual scripts are utilized across the platform. You can use them in the scanner. You use them in your multi-factor alerts. You use them in your strategy testing. You use them everywhere. And once you make one, you can use it kind of everywhere, right? You can make something in the scanner. You make a script in the scanner, and you can send it to the strategy tester. You can create a multi-factor alert out of it, or vice versa, right? You can use these things everywhere. What's up, why not? It was a great Christmas. Thank you. I hope yours was great as well. So when you go to create your own scripts, there's a couple of different things you can do. So let's talk through all of the different kind of stuff that's in here. So let's say that I want to, I don't know what condition I'd want to buy. Let's say I'm looking for moving average crosses. We're going to start really, really simple here. Don't judge me for being very simple. This isn't about the conditions. It's about the definers. So let's create a condition really quick. I'm just going to do something really simple. Like I said, I'll use a simple moving average crossing up on another simple moving average. So we'll say daily, simple moving average. I'm going to change these. We'll make this the 8. We'll make this the 21, just to kind of keep things realistic. And let's say that we want also price to be above the 200. So we'll say price daily close greater than indicator daily simple moving average. We'll make this length 200. So let's say these are the conditions that we're looking for. And let's define one more thing. Let's say, I don't know, price close greater than price close. Yes, actually, we'll say high yesterday. Right, so we're saying that the 8's crossing up on the 21. The close today is greater than the 200. So the current price, we're above the 200 SMA. And also we are currently above yesterday's high. These are the three things that we're looking for. And we want all of them to be true. And because we want all of them to be true, we're utilizing the all of the following definer, right? Now we could change this if we wanted. If we wanted just any of these three things to be true, we can make it any of the following. And then you got any of these three things are true. If you wanted none of these things to be true, well then make it none of the following. And any name that comes back, we can actually, let's see. Oops, let's run the scan and see if there's anything. Yeah, so there actually are names that are meeting all of this criteria right now. The 8 and 21 are not crossing up. Price is not above the 200, and the price is closed. Price is not closed greater than yesterday's high. These are the 7 names in the Dow Jones 30 that are meeting these three criteria right now. Or rather, I'm sorry, they're not meeting these 3 criteria right now. They're specifically not meeting these 3 criteria. We could take this like multiple steps farther though. I'm going to go back and change this to say all of these things are true. My guess is we're not going to get anything. Yeah, because that 821 kind of difficult right now when everything's super hot. This happened some time ago, I would imagine. Anyway, regardless, doesn't matter. The next thing we want to do here Say we want these three things to be true, but we also want to define like, well, this or this or this could be true. Well, you can actually define both, right? You can define that all of these things are true, and you could define that another set of conditions, any of that set of conditions are true. And the way that you do that is you go to add a parameter and you go to condition group, right? So when I create a condition group, then what happens is a new little box forms inside of this bigger box. So these three conditions are being defined as all of the following. And then whatever I put in this condition group, I can change and make it a unique definition. I can say any of the following. So let's say in this particular case, I want to use something else. I want to use some candlestick patterns. So I'll say daily hammer. I'll say candlestick pattern daily doji, or a candlestick pattern daily, I don't know, engulfing. Hold on, we'll just do a 3. Oh, what? Oh, I did chart patterns. My bad, that's why. That makes sense. Candlestick patterns, daily, engulfing. Right, so now what we're saying is we're saying all three of these need to be true, and either on the daily there's a hammer, a doji, or an engulfing candle forming. We don't care which of these three is forming. We just want one of them to be forming, along with our 8-hour close above the 200 and our close above yesterday's high, or the 821 cross, and so on. So these three are true, and any of these are true. Now what happens, let's divert or go a different direction for a second, and let's change this to any, and let's change this to all. What did we just, how has this changed? Well, the way that this has changed now is we're saying that any of the below has to be true. So what are we saying? Well, we're saying some kind of weird stuff, but it doesn't matter that we're saying weird stuff. It's better. It only matters that you understand. So we're saying that either the 8 is crossing up on the 21, or the current close is greater than the 200, or the current close is greater than yesterday's high, or all of these three things are true. Now, obviously, a candle cannot be a hammer, a doji, and an engulfing at the same time. That makes no sense. So in no circumstances will this condition group be the reason why a ticker comes up as meeting this criteria, but that any of the following up here does pertain to our condition group. It includes the condition group within all of the conditions below it, right? So, any of the following includes all of the conditions below it, including the condition group. So whatever you have defined up here, it carries over into your condition groups, but what you have defined in your condition group does not carry over into what's up here. So any of the following up here means that either this, or this condition group has to be true in order for a name to meet the criteria. Now, if I run this scan, we're probably going to get quite a few names because they're all probably meeting this above the 200 period SMA. All 30, I would imagine, are meeting that criteria. So we get a bunch of results, right? Hopefully that makes sense for everybody. The next thing about this, I'm going to switch this back to all of the following. I'm going to switch this back to any of the following. So then this makes good sense why we would utilize any of the following here, right? Because we're talking about candles. A candle can't be, in theory, it can't be all of these things at one time. It can't be a hammer and a doji and an engulfing at the same time. So any of the following makes a lot of sense. Now, the big question that came in over the weekend was, why would you utilize none of the following? Well, for the same reason why you would utilize really all of the following or any of the following. You want to define a set of conditions in another way. So let's say none of the following. And maybe, in theory, what we're looking for here, we're looking for a moving average cross up, a shorter term moving average cross up, but a longer term bullish setup, right? Prices above your 200, we're taking out yesterday's high and we're putting in a reversal candle. So this is like maybe a short-term reversal, bullish reversal in a longer-term uptrend. Well, maybe we want to be long some sort of scenario like that, but we also don't want to be long into an overheated scenario. So the first thing that I think of is maybe you want to say that, I don't know, RSI is not greater than 85, right? So we can search RSI and say greater than a constant value of 85. We do not want names that are overbought, right? So you'd say none of the following, RSI is not greater than 85. Now you could of course say this another way, right? If you wanted to, you could say, you could define it as all of the following. You could put it up here and you could do it in reverse. You could say RSI is less than a constant value of 85, right? And then you don't even need this none of the following. You could totally remove that condition group. You're saying the same thing because we're specifically defining that as less than 85. But whatever, we're just trying to come up with reasons why you would want to utilize and how you would utilize all these different definers. So we'll go back and we'll say RSI greater than a constant value of 85. And there you go. And maybe we also don't want, I don't know, maybe we don't want price making a new 52-week high today. Price close for price daily high, greater than indicator daily range. Oop, let's make it weekly range. We'll make this 52 weeks. We'll offset it by 1, say apply, make this weeks. So maybe we don't want RSI above 85 and we don't want today's high being greater than a 52-week high, right? And then that's maybe why we want to be utilizing this none of the following condition. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm sure I didn't explain that as efficiently as I could have. I'm just kind of coming up with stuff on the spot. But the big question was, all right, so I just actually, you know what, guys? I just noticed something. Let's talk about this. I just noticed another thing that I did here that actually is kind of wrong. Or not wrong, but potentially not what we're after. And it's good that we kind of realize this here. So notice that this condition group that I just made for these none of the following conditions is within this condition group. So now this condition group, none of the following, is being applied to this any of the following condition right here, right? That's kind of interesting. So now we're saying either a hammer, a doji, an engulfing, or these none of the following conditions are true, right? Well, what if I wanted this none of the following condition to be a part of the all of the following? Because essentially what we're looking for here now is we're saying these three things are true, and either a hammer, a doji, an engulfing, or these none of the following conditions. Hopefully that makes sense. So we can remove this. And when I added this condition group, I did it from here. I did it from within the condition group. I said add parameter condition group and see it builds the secondary condition group inside of this first condition group, the bigger condition group that I made. Well, I want it to be outside of that. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to come up to add a parameter right here, and I'm going to say condition group. And see now how it's in its own world. So now I can say none of the following here. And again, I'm going to go back and say daily RSI is greater than a constant value of 85. I'm going to say daily price high is greater than indicator weekly range high. I'm going to offset this by 1. I'm going to make this 52 weeks and say apply. And so now I have two unique condition groups, and they're both being applied to this all the following condition ultimately. So what we're finding here, what we're looking for here, are scenarios where the 8 is crossing up on the 21, price is closing greater than the 200 SMA, price is closing greater than yesterday's high. Those three things are all true. Also, what is true is that either there's a hammer, a doji, an engulfing candle forming. Also, what is not true, because none of the following, is that RSI is greater than 85 and that price is greater than the 52-week range high. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. I see that quite like half of you have left, so you guys didn't care. And I'm sorry that that was something that you didn't care about. But this was a question that came in chat, and we wanted a good answer for it. So hopefully that answers the question. I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to circle back to you guys. I'm going to read what we got here. Craig, so for a weekly chart, can you parameter for last week's 9-week EMA closed below the 14-week EMA and the current week 9-week EMA closed above? Of course you can. Yes. Sure, Craig. Let me show you. So I'm going to go new scanner. And so we're looking for weekly exponential moving average less than indicator weekly exponential moving average. Right? 9 less than 14. And then in order to define last week, Craig, make these guys one candle ago. And make sure your current candle is toggled on. So 1 week ago would be last week. I'm going to duplicate this parameter. I'm going to come right here to less than and make it greater than. Indicator weekly exponential. Make this to 14. Say apply. And then I'm just going to remove these. So last week, 1 candle ago, the 9 was less than the 14. This week, the 9 greater than the 14. And I'll do, I don't know. We'll do the 500, see if anything comes up. Yeah, you got quite a few things meeting this criteria. And if we want to, add a couple EMAs. 9, 14. And let me remove the 20. I mean, you could also, in theory, you could also just say crossed up, right? So you could say it like this. 9 crossed up on indicator exponential 14. You could do that too. What's up, Joe Genero? The man with the golden name. Still think that name is just flows. All right, so that is my spiel on utilizing these different defining mechanisms for your script writing. Hopefully that makes sense. If anybody has any questions about it, do feel free to hit me with those questions. If not, let's talk about what's happening right now. What are you guys looking at? What are you doing here? Say hello if you haven't said hello. I see all names that I recognize. Craig, Joe, why not? It's great to have you guys here with me again. If anybody has any questions, hit me with them. I'm looking for things to talk about today. And I don't have anything on my plate. I don't have anything other than what I just went over that I wanted to talk about. Craig, does that make sense to you? How we scripted this? Hopefully it does. What's up, Billy Megahertz? How's it going, man? What brings you here today? I've never seen you before. All right, Craig, so you got it. Cool. Anything else you were curious about, Craig? Or was that it? Billy, are you a TrendSpider trader? GTLB. Let's take a look at GTLB. Oh. Gitlab. Interesting. What do you want to look at on it, brother? Oh, this is like a brand new stock. I don't know anything about Gitlab. One platform, one team, GitLab DevOps platform. Open core company that operates GitLab, a DevOps software package that can develop, secure, and operate software. Are we looking for some analysis here, Mr. Billy? Not a whole heck of a lot of price information on this thing. Broke up and over anchored VWAP from the IPO at the last week of November. Been nice and strong ever since. Nice amount of volume coming in too. A little low volume consolidation going on into those old highs over here. You got the lows that took you down, or you got the lows rather that took you up to the previous high. Looks like they did a little sneaky little stop everybody out in reverse. Don't you hate it when they do things like this? That's the most frustrating thing. Maybe they'll do something similar with these previous highs. Break through that 70 level. Come after him that way. With scenarios like this, let me do... I always like to have a volume by price up. You want to see what's overhead, if there is anything really overhead, and it's pretty clear that there is not volume-wise. All the volume is down here. Oh, you've been here. Right on. Well, Billy, thanks for saying hello. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, this thing looks pretty darn good, huh? That's obviously the next target, is those previous highs, 70.96. Above that, not much volume. You've got a little fair value gap right here at 84.98. Let me turn off some things and turn on the fair value gap indicator. I'm going to make this like 0.3. Oh, it's smaller than that. Oh, not enough candles for weekly. Got it. Okay. So, well, the platform isn't going to print it, but there is this fair value gap right here. And then you've got a fair value gap right here as well. That is not yet filled. So these would be potential. Nice. Big win on CRISPR? Heck yeah. Good for you. Why not? There was another one that we were looking at last week. I think it was last week. Shoot. What was it? I think it was like Neo that ended up working out quite well. And I remember also maybe like a week or 2 weeks ago, we were talking about some of these crypto miners, Mara, I believe. I was wrong on Mara. Mara ended up running quite a bit higher. Yeah, so this is where I'd be looking. I'd be looking at these highs. If they can push through this with like some serious salt, then I'd be looking at the bottom and the top of this fair value gap here as places where price might rest a little. I don't know anything about this name, and like I said, there's not a ton of like seasonality information. Just there's not much data here. We could actually, let's look at weeks. Yeah, there's just not really anything there. Let's see if there's anything on the analyst estimates. Got some recent buy ratings earlier in December. Nothing over the past couple of days or the past couple of weeks, really. See if there's anything on the insider side. Got a little bit of insider selling recently. Aaron, the CAO, sold a little bit. Mark Porter sold a little bit, but these are all pretty small sells. Nothing huge. Looks like November you had a bigger sell, 8 million. But no buying either. No buying recently. It's like the last buys that we saw were back in May. which they were buying at the low. Whoever GV 2021 is, you can read the filing here. GV 2021 GP, whoever they are. They were bullish at the right time. My God. Buying this thing at $30. Pretty smart. They were buying in March too. Wonder if they caught these lows. So this is kind of interesting, actually. Like, this is a name to be keeping an eye on, because when are they buying? They're buying at the, they've been buying at the lows, like nailing lows. Pretty impressive. When are earnings? So it wasn't even on earnings. Well, this move in March was on earnings. But this move in May, no earnings there. Interesting. So this would be one to keep a little flag on, potentially. The GV 2021. They're good at buying the lows. You wonder if they're good at selling the highs too. You have to keep an eye out and see if they ever start selling. Hey, Kevin, what's up? What's up, Ben? Ben, do you have Tesla options selling strategy that I like? I do not. Nope, I do not, Ben. I'm sorry. I don't really do, personally. I mean, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I do not do option selling. It's not anything that I do, personally. So, I ain't got nothing for you, man. I'm sorry. Kevin Z, is there a way to import a watch list for crypto, like the first 100, 200, 500? So we have a bunch of pre-built stuff, man. Let me show you. So if you open up this, if you open up a watch list and click this little down arrow, you got crypto list right here. So I'm going to turn all these other guys off. And then we just have crypto list. So here are your, never mind. Let's move past all that. Yeah. So here's where your crypto lists start. So it starts as just the tickers across, it's the same ticker across multiple exchanges. And then if you scroll down and you get past all of the individual names, then you're going to get to the exchanges. Binance, US, all spot symbols. Me personally, Coinbase is going to be the one that I would use. But, you know, use what you want. Use what makes sense for you. Now, as far as, when you say the first 100, 200, 500, I'm not sure exactly what you're saying there. But perhaps this is what you're looking for. I mean, this is going to give you all the tickers that are traded on Coinbase. I mean, I don't know. What else do you need? And then from here, if you're looking for something really specific within this list, then you would just choose that list as your scan through list. So you could type in Coinbase. There it is. So now if I were looking for whatever conditions, I don't know. Following which breakouts in Coinbase. See if anything comes up. I don't know if anything will. But this is how I do it. Because I would just use that list. Yeah, Ben, I mean, I know, I get it. I'm buddies with, I don't know if you know him, but Sean McLaughlin at All Star Charts. He works with JC and Steve and them. He is my couple cities over neighbor, so I see him. He and I go on hikes and things. He's a buddy. And he's always selling. He's always selling premium. He's really smart with it. He's been trying to get me to do it for some time, and I just haven't. I don't know. It just hasn't caught on for me. I haven't. I'm focused elsewhere, I guess you could say. But Kevin Z, does that answer your question? Is there something more that you were looking for? Perhaps. So there's a few more of you guys in here. If you haven't said hello, please say hello. It's polite to say hello. I like to know who's tuned in. If you're here for a specific reason, this is your chance to ask questions. Have no fear. Ask questions. If you're curious about something, you're curious how to use something, you're curious how to script something, you want to backtest a strategy. If you're here, utilize the time. I'm here to help you. How is that CRISPR looking nowadays? Oh. It's a nice little pullback, actually. Oh, this is the weekly. So we probably already did this. Yeah, up into that, back into the 50% retrace. Nice little hold. Now they're holding the point of control and the VWAP. Really, from those highs, probably. I could probably pull this all the way back, and it's probably the same spot. Ah, okay, so a little bit trickier. But right at that point of control, lots of volume right here. Let's pull this back all the way. So really, you're at the VWAP. It's really all about that VWAP from the, VWAP from the, essentially from the IPO. Oh, no, never mind. Hold on, let me, how much more? All right, let's do this. I bet it's still probably in the same spot, yeah. And I guess I probably highlighted this as the big spot. That's going to be your key thing to gain. That $75 level, so important. Pumpin' LTCN. What's going on with LTCN? Oh, Grayscale Litecoin. Holy moly. Well, I mean, this is kind of doing what everything else is doing, right? How do you add indexes to your pairs trade? Frankie, do you mean like hold on. Are you talking about composite symbols? So my huge call wall at 252 is a big spot for Tesla. My thinking on this is it's just doing what all the other cryptos are doing. I mean, if you just look at Bitcoin, I put out a tweet over the weekend about this, but if you look at Bitcoin right here, this 44,000 level, you guys know that I'm a price action guy. You have a little kind of head and shoulders thing. It's the other side of the shoulder. I know it doesn't look like a head and shoulders. Everybody tells me that, but that's what you got. If you go over to Solana, Solana was the talk of the Christmas time. Well, it's the same exact chart, really, right? You have those old highs. And that little left shoulder here is what's stopping things. If we go to LTC, I think it's just, whoa, Litecoin, super not there. Interesting. It's actually really interesting. Maybe it's catching up. That is wild. Well, hold on. Let's see. Interesting. I have no idea. No idea at all why this would be the case, but what I would be looking at is that same spot. Kind of in here. 22. So Frankie. Hold on one sec. Give me 1 second. I'm just looking for a blog post on composite symbols. So is this what you're looking for when you say pairs? So essentially a composite symbol is just utilizing multiple symbols to create a chart. I'm going to share this with you. Can you pull up spot gamma on each ticker? At this time, that's not possible. We are working on some gamma stuff. Excuse me. So you're trading GBP. Okay, currency. Got it. You're trying to add US 30. So I don't think that's something that we have. Let me see something real quick. Okay, so it's the Dow Jones Industrial. Let me see. So $ DJX. Is this it? I don't really pay too much attention to indexes, but any index that we have on the platform is going to have a $ in front of it, in front of the ticker symbol. So perhaps this is it. Indexes are 15 minutes lagging though, Frankie. Just so that you're aware. Yeah, no problem. But just, yeah, keep in mind, 15 minutes lagging. Why that's the case, I am uncertain. Just has to do with data feeds. And we are getting a new, okay, cool. That's it. Great. We are getting some new data here very, very soon. Maybe that'll change. I'll have to find out. So with backtesting, actually, I don't know if you can, let me see if you can. I don't know if you can strategy test indexes, like specifically indexes. I'm just going to try and run something. Yeah, see, due to exchange rules, you cannot test an index. And I don't know why that is either, but it literally has nothing to do with us. It's the exchange itself that will not allow for that. So maybe there's a like non-index alternative. Let's see what this is. I mean, this isn't it. Yeah, that ain't gonna be it. Seems like the type of thing that I should know, but I just don't use indexes at all, so I just don't know anything about them. Yeah, it looks like DJX is the only thing. I'm sorry, man. Wish I had better news for you. While we have this little dull moment, thank you guys for all being here. Do appreciate it. If you're not already a subscriber to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. No problem, Frankie B. Do please subscribe to the channel. Every subscription helps. It's free. You can choose to turn on notifications, be alerted every time I'm live. I usually go live a couple times a week. Love to have you guys here with me for all of those. And, you know, obviously, the more subs we get, the more you guys like these things, the more I can go to the team and say, hey, here's proof that it makes sense to do these. So if you're enjoying the live streams, if you enjoy them, if you get some good information out of them, if you find them useful, hit me with a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. What's up with Tesla right now? Speaking of that huge call wall. This is kind of cool. I'll show you guys this if you haven't seen it already. Actually, we're gonna go here. We're gonna say custom scripting. That's kind of cool. Actually, I might already have it saved, so we may not need it. Inside examples for custom scripting. Where is it? Here it is. So this indicator paints horizontal levels at strike prices. So you can take and copy this code. And you can go over to your custom indicator. Paste it on in there. Say apply. Check this out. Have any of you guys seen this? It's called Unusual Options Volume at Strike. That call wall you were talking about? It's pretty cool, right? You can actually see it. Let me turn this on. You actually see the horizontal levels of all of the current unusual options. So these obviously are changing, but kind of cool. For anybody who is not aware, we do offer unusual options data on the platform. If you go to your assistant, I'm just going to type in Tesla unusual options here. Here's all of them. This is the most up-to-date ones. See if there's anything interesting in here. I always like to look for larger premiums. I want to see like real conviction. You can also look for like, oops. If you use tags, say all of the following, and then do like above ask, and then sweep. This is going to filter out everything sweeps above the ask. And this kind of can give you an idea of like where the, you know, where people really want to get in. Looks like it's overwhelmingly bullish over the, or rather bearish over the past, you know, week or so since the 22nd. Always have spot on resistance levels? Who, me? I don't know if that's true. These are all relatively smaller premiums though. Nothing like really major. This one's kind of bigger. Almost a quarter mil. On the January 17th, 260 put. This came in yesterday. January 17th seems to be a pretty popular strike date. Or expiry date, rather. Knowledge is money. That's for sure, Billy. Anywho. Any other questions from you guys? Anything else that you're curious about? Anything I can assist with? If nothing, no big deal. If there's anything you guys want to look at, we can look at it. I know all eyes are on Tesla. Here's your seasonality coming into year end. January tends to be a pretty decent month. 62% of the time green in January. We can take a look at week of the year. %46 win rate next week. Did my music go away? Sounds like it did. Let's get it going again. But yeah, so, all right. So like 10 minutes or so. Probably going to be hanging out for another 10 minutes or so. If we have any last minute questions, let's get them answered. If not, if we have any last minute things you want to look at, let me know. We'll take a look. I'm just going to do a little scanning. See what's out there moving in the markets today. Looking for anything that's up. Oop. Looking for anything up about 5% or more. AXSM. Awesome, up 5% today. Billy, what are you talking about, bro? I want to understand. Oh, how's Chewy doing today? I've heard of a lot of people talking Chewy lately. 24.5 bucks. Interesting. So guys, what's up? Going once, going twice? Last call for questions? Anybody have them? If not, no big deal. But if you have them, hit me with them. I think Billy's in his own world. Square. Wow, heck of a run on Square. Holy moly. Let's see something here. Hold on one second. Just looking up something here really quick. Give me 1 second. $30-week. All right. I want to see something. Huh. All right, so there is, I'm going to share this with you. I wonder if I have something on it. I actually might. Maybe I don't. There's this theory called Weinstein stage analysis. And in Weinstein stage analysis, what you're kind of looking for, there are 4 stages. Uses the 30-week SMA. So essentially all of this is stage 4 drawdown. This is the end of the whole thing. Stage 1 is where price does this, kind of like tries to break up and over a flattening 30-week SMA. Whenever I see charts that look like this, I always check the 30-week. And so I guess why I'm kind of pointing to this, for me, you're coming right into previous highs. Those July highs, you've made proper lows, right? You took out all of the lows of this whole section. So what I would be looking for if I were thinking about leaps here, I wouldn't be thinking about leaps yet, because you're coming into like clear resistance levels, these previous highs. But what I would be looking for, if it were me, I mean, this is not trading advice. I'm not telling you what to do. Make your own decisions. But if it were me, I would be looking for some sort of reversion, some sort of pullback. There's a couple of ways that you can think about it. First off, where's your fibs at? So your 0.382, your 50%, you know, these are like, what, $20 away, 25% lower. The other thing you can do, let's see. This thing's up 100% in 9 weeks. That's pretty impressive. Just want to see if it's happened before. Interesting. So similar, what we're seeing here is similar to the COVID lows, where it came into previous highs and it just, wow, it just ran. And it looks like that's the only time this has ever happened. You've had that kind of move, 100% move in that period of time, was off those COVID lows. There's like no data, you know, one time in the history of this stock that's happened. So you can't really get anything from that, right? You know, you can't assume that just because it happened here, it's going to happen again. I don't know. To me, it would be hard to take longs. I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about leaps. You're talking about calls, right? You're talking about directional, long biased calls. Let me see something. It's certainly strong, though. Doesn't mean there has to be a reversion. Still not even like properly oversold. I don't know. Tough to say. But it is up 100% in 2 months, which is pretty crazy. I don't know. Perhaps the play is, I don't know. I don't want to tell you what to do. I would just the way that I trade, I would have a hard time buying into new highs. Because this seems like a logical place where there would be some profit taking. And there has been no profit taking. I mean, realistically speaking, every low is higher than the previous week. You've made 9 weekly highs in a row. You've made 9 higher lows in a row. There's been no reversion here. It's crazy. It's like really crazy. This is the COVID low. Honestly, the move on the COVID low was a little bit more restrained. You had at least weeks where it consolidated sideways. Like, you don't see any of that here. This is just straight up. Clearly powerful. Clearly people want in. Will it continue? I have no idea. I don't know, Tats. You'd have to look at all of them to see. I don't really know. I haven't looked at all of them. Baba, let's look real quick, and then I'm going to get out of here. We talked about Baba last week, no? I mean, obviously, this thing is in a gross downtrend. Let me take the unusual options off here. They're just a little distracting. The only thing that Baba's got going for it potentially here is that they held lows. So potentially they're putting in a higher low here. But they haven't gained anything. I mean, they're, you know, like you got to be under pretty much every major moving average, I would imagine. I'm just going to throw up a ribbon here. Let's make this the 10. Let's make this the 50. Let's make this the 100. 200. Just want to see. It's starting to gain a couple of the moving averages. I don't know. You're also coming into all these old lows in here. 78 to 80. Yeah, you had that area that was a pretty important hold spot that they lost. They tested it here and they failed. So I don't know. You might want to be looking for something more like move up and over and then a retest and actually hold it. From those highs, this might be worth keeping an eye on too. From the January 2023 highs, so it's just a year's worth of price action. Trading well below the point of control and the VWAP from those highs. Those are going to be key areas as well. So I don't know. On the longer term, you've got potentially a higher low, which could be good. You know, that would be a first step of a bottoming process, would be making a higher low. And then you really would kind of just want to see price starting to gain. These are just really basic trend lines. I want to see price get up and over some of this stuff and actually start holding higher lows on a daily, on a shorter term time frame, maybe making a higher high. But I don't know. It's China, so I don't know. Could really go any way. China's tricky. Yeah, Kevin. On seasonality, check this. Add mean change. And then just hover. and you'll see what the mean change is for those months. So like for BABA, since 2014, January is a strong month. December is a weak month. Your mean change in January, 6.94%. That's kind of interesting. If we close right where we are right now, and we go up 6.94%, oh, it's not much. But that gets you to like 82 bucks. Which brings you to that point of control from the January highs. You've got gaps there. All right, you got a huge gap from 85 down to 81. Perhaps this thing ends up having that strong January and you get that 7%-ish move and it gets you up into that point of control. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I don't know. Something. And then PLTR. Lousy in December. Third strongest month of the year, but it aligns with quite a few of them. 67% win rate in January. Mean change 15.29% since 2020. As you guys know, with a name like this, we're always taking a look at the anchored VWAP from the IPO. Where are we finding support right now? Right there. You're right on it. They tried to gain it, or they gained it in July. They lost it in August. They gained it in November, and now they're trying to hold it in December. Seems like a pretty decent, risk off level below that anchored VWAP from the point or from the IPO. Seems like a logical spot. Earlier, we were talking about that Weinstein stage analysis. This same idea, right? You have the first stage where they consolidate in and around. Finally, it breaks. And then now we're in stage 2, right? Where the 30 is nice and in a nice uptrend. You're looking to buy bullbacks to the 30 in this theory. Well, we're right back there again. So we'll have to see how this plays out. You do have a little bit of a volume shelf at about 24 bucks. If this thing is going to continue higher, you might have some resistance up there around 20, somewhere between 24 and 26 bucks. Got a bunch of folks potentially stuck up here. But your average buyer from the IPO is in at $17.50. So it seems like a decent line in the sand. See what they do around in here. This could be a decent, potentially a long pullback opportunity. As you guys also know, I always, whenever you're thinking about the trades that you're taking, I recommend utilizing this tool. This is the draw position tool. So like, for example, if I wanted to be long, say I wanted to go long somewhere in here. I thought I was going to pull back a little bit more and I want to get long. And let's say I want to utilize these old lows as my stop loss level. Well, then I utilize the profit target. I extend the profit target up to where I need it to be in order for my R to make sense for whatever I'm risking, right? Generally, you're looking for somewhere in the neighborhood of 3R. 3R is a kind of a standard R value, right? Keeps you kind of safe, allows you to lose trades and it be okay. So for anybody who doesn't know what R is, if you have a 3R, then you're risking $1 to make $3, right? So if your stop is down here below that 13 level or below these previous lows, then you know that you got to get to 27 bucks in order to hit that R value. So that's how you start thinking about, well, how do I want to trade this? How often, or rather, how long Do I think it can make it to $27? This is a good question to ask yourself. If so, how long do I think it's going to take to get there? If you think it's going to get there very quickly, then you utilize maybe options or whatever. You utilize whatever, however you want to express that trade idea. Think through the R of the trade first. And that'll help you build out how you want to plan the trade. You don't want to just buy anything willy-nilly, right? You want to be thinking through all of the scenarios before you get into the trade. From position sizing to the type of position and so on. But if you know that that's your 3R trade, then that's your 3R trade, and you got to think through it like that. So yeah, that's how I think about it. Hopefully that helps. You do have a big gap to fill below. Pretty impressive. If they can't fill this gap, that tells you something, doesn't it? You've got a pretty consistent lower highs over the past, what, since November 20th? Just putting in lower highs. So see what they do here. If they end up pushing below, but they can't fill this gap and it immediately reverses, that is a signal. If they push through this gap and then they try and bounce it, watch what they do here at this 17 level, because you have multiple lows that held below, or held before rather. If they get there and then it stalls and it starts pushing lower again, perhaps they're going to fill the rest of the gap. In my experience, if they push into a gap, don't fill it and immediately buy it back up, especially if it's like on volume. That's a pretty key thing to look out for, that maybe perhaps they're not ready to fill that gap just yet and they do want to push it higher. Same thing could be true to an upside, you know, a gap above. So tricky to buy this long here because it's looking pretty scary. You do have that big gap to fill, but see what happens. I don't know. Hopefully that's helpful. And Kevin, did that answer your question about seasonality? Hopefully that's helpful. If it's not helpful, let me know. If it is helpful, let me know. I am past time here, so I think I'm going to jump, get to stepping. Any last minute questions before I go? If we're good, just let me know we're good. I'm going to assume we're good, y'all. I'm going to assume we're good. Why not? I'm here to answer questions, man. And we'll keep on doing them. So I appreciate you being here. Get you some questions together for the next one. We'll do it again here in 2 days. I'll be back on Friday. Probably will start a little bit early on Friday. We had some things going on this morning, so I had to start this a little bit later than usual. But we'll probably be back to normal time on Friday, probably around 11 o'clock Eastern. So yeah, join me then. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hopefully we got some questions answered today. And remember, if you ever have any questions and I'm not around, you can always feel free to reach out to us via the Contact Us button, bottom right-hand corner of your charts. We have live employees in chat every single day, Monday through Sunday. Our CEO even hangs out in chat answering questions for you guys. So if y'all got questions, we've got answers. Feel free to hit those guys up. They are around to help you. Caught up in the spider web. It's like that No Doubt song. Leave a message and I'll call you back, right? That's what she says in that song. All right, y'all. Well, again, it's been a pleasure. I do appreciate y'all being here. And if you have any questions, you can always hit me up at Krutzky Trades on Twitter. I'll leave this for you. That's my Twitter handle. You can hit me up if you need me. Yeah, there you go. Have a great day, guys. Holler if you need me, and we'll talk again soon. All right. Take care.